This is yellow cake, the main ingredient Iran needs for an atomic bomb. I was preparing for this for decades, I can say. What can be a perfect visual metaphor for this? This is just like some guy opening his mouth, and that's visually extremely boring, I think visually. What if I put that kind of effort into a short form content, which is not something that is usually done in this world? I would like to see something more interesting than a guy opening his mouth and explaining anything. I was like, when I saw that, I was like, you are a genius. So this is going to be like my main life's work.
Welcome to the Moonshot Podcast. Everyone's chasing views, likes and clicks, but few truly understand what makes people stop, feel, buy and engage content. Today's guest has spent the last 2 decades mastering the formula. Joining me is Istok Pavlović, one of the most influential digital marketers in Europe. He's helped scale brands to over 500 million euros in revenue, scaled Frame to a $165 million exit, and built numerous viral campaigns that have reached millions, as well as founding Masterbox, the #1 digital marketing school in the Balkans with over 10,000 students. In this episode, we dive into why most brands stay invisible and how to launch one that actually scales, the secrets behind short-form videos that explode online, and what 99% of marketers still get wrong about viral content, even in 2025. We also talk about how to use AI smartly, not just to generate content, but to win attention. This episode is fast, tactical, and packed with rare insights from someone who's been turning attention into growth before content strategy was even a buzzword. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to the show. If you haven't yet, hit that follow button so you never miss an episode of Moonshot. I'm your host, Tatjana Pandurevic. Let's dive in. Istok, thank you so much for joining the Moonshot podcast. I'm very excited to have this conversation with you. You're a genius marketer, and it's especially exciting that we get to do this interview in Belgrade.
Thank you. I think this is my first podcast in English since I switched to English in December 2024. And so I'm excited, and I'm glad that I'm here and awaiting your questions. I see they have like a whole notebook of pretty much. Was that written by ChatGPT?
Well, I use ChatGPT for inspiration, but I find that it's always too generic. So unless I'm really manipulating it or I'm trying to myself get the right flow, it's good for, I find, inspiration,
right?
But never for copy-paste.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I do the same, and we can talk about that later, but I think this synergy of human and AI is the winning combo.
The winning formula. We'll definitely be talking a little bit about AI today and impact on marketing. But to get started, I'd love to talk about something that we just mentioned before we started. You've scaled many viral marketing campaigns. You've got a big education platform. You're part of a $165 million exit. But you were talking about this idea of your overnight success. Can you share with our listeners what this is and how you came to this success?
Well, from the outside, that might look like an overnight, but actually, like, I was preparing for this for decades, I can say, because I've been into marketing world from 1999, which is a very long time ago, and it went from blogging, and then when video format came with YouTube and then Instagram and TikTok, I realized I have to switch to video. So, and then, but over time you use everything you learn in the marketing world. Like video production has been around for a long time, but for TV and then YouTube and then Instagram. So basically, I collected knowledge like from many years. Some of the things I do in my reels now came from my design background, which was like 25 years ago when I started doing these things, and from motion graphics and from copywriting. And so, it is like an overnight success, but the overall knowledge that was needed to make all of these things put together, that's like 2 decades probably or more.
And the first time that you really started creating viral content, you mentioned that it was about 10 videos, or it took about 10 videos?
Yeah. So basically it took me like 5 videos to reach global audience, like hundreds of thousands of new followers and tens of millions of views from all around the world, mostly Western speaking countries, Western world. And then, so I think that's because, the content I make has, it requires a lot of effort. And I think the audience feels that, when you look at those videos, you can see that it's not just some guy popping out his phone and saying like, hey guys, I was thinking about this and that, what do you think? And previously when I was recording content in Serbian language for the local audience, many of my videos were actually like this. So
you just took your phone and did a selfie.
I think for some time what I'm going to say, but like maybe for 15 minutes or so, but then I record. But this new wave of videos that are available on my Instagram right now, some of these videos took like days to make, and this is why they have so much potential. And I read the comments, and I can see that people feel that as something completely fresh and something that's quite unseen on Instagram, because that kind of effort, maybe people can spot something, can stumble upon something like that on YouTube, because on YouTube, like, you have monetization, and there's some kind of math that if you put a lot of effort into a video like that, you're gonna get like tens of thousands of dollars of revenue from that. So that makes sense. But here on Instagram, the revenues from views directly are essentially zero. So putting a lot of effort into short form content is not something that is usual in this world. And this is what I realized, that there are people who put a lot of effort in the videos like I do on Instagram, but they're mostly on YouTube. So my logic was, okay, I have other sources of revenues, and I have my courses and marketing school. So what if I put that kind of effort into short form content, which is not something that is usually done in this world. And basically on shorts, people are used to see, like this crappy content, low effort content. So when I pop up with these original ideas, they're like, wow, like a breath of fresh air, and yeah, I think this is my winning formula.
Your content is really unique. It's the first thing that stood out when I first came across your Instagram profile.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's a lot of effort that goes behind those videos.
Yeah.
On average, How long does it take you to curate one of those videos from start to finish?
So this is going to surprise many people, but so shooting that video takes on average 30 minutes. And then editing takes on average, I'm very good at editing. I don't have an external editor for this particular purpose. I edit all the videos myself because, if I teach people this like editing and videography, then I have to be hands-on on my own content. So I edit the content and it takes me around an hour to edit everything. So we have 30 minutes of shooting, 1 hour of editing, but to prepare everything, sometimes it takes me a week.
How much does ChatGPT help you?
It helps a lot, of course. So for many of these videos, it's not like ChatGPT. It's like, so I know what's going to be the general idea of the video, but then maybe I'm going to, just sit and have a coffee and then think about how can I represent this idea visually? Like, what can be a perfect visual metaphor for this? And I think these questions and everything that comes into my mind, that takes like 99% of the time needed to prepare the video. And then props. So usually these visual metaphors require props that are either made, so I have to somehow obtain the things that I want to show in the video, and usually it's not something that you can just buy in the nearest store. Some of these props I have to visit local kupujem prodajem in Serbia. It's like Craigslist for used stuff and obscure stuff that I need, So yeah, I mean, I've had cases that I travel to another city, like 1 hour away of drive, just to get something that I'm going to show in for 2 seconds in a video. But I know that these 2 seconds would be the 2 seconds where the audience would be like, wow, can you imagine that this guy took this to represent this idea, So, and this is what drives me to collect all these things and to create this, overall set design and props and everything. And yeah, that is like the combined with the script, of course, that takes most of the time.
That's incredible. I love the traveling to another city just for that small detail.
Yeah.
But the entire, it's hard to believe that the actual editing and the creating of the content is the fast part, and that everything else takes so much time.
I'll give you an example. So in my latest video, I wanted to show how the US debt works, and for that I needed the 10 billion dinar bill from Yugoslavia with Nikola Tesla on it, because I know that Americans and people around the world know about Nikola Tesla, and recently, because of the Tesla, Elon Musk, Tesla Motors and everything, his name is even more in the cultural context. So yeah, that was the 1 hour drive to another city to get
find this dollar bill.
This dollar bill, yeah. But this dollar bill turned out to be the metaphor for inflation that can happen if things go south in the U.S. overall system of managing debt and everything. So I knew that if I can show this bill and say, hey, I lived in this failed country that had this enormous inflation, and we had this, and to place this on a map of US, and to have some kind of message that this is what can happen if the debt is not managed properly. So yeah, and I traveled to get that, and most of the things you see in the videos are basically things that are either prepared or manufactured by my own hands, and I think the audience can sense that, and this is why they like to watch it.
I've seen this video and I found it super clear just in explaining debt and the message that you were trying to get across. And something else I noticed in your videos is a lot of them seem very trendy or relevant to what's happening in the times. And then you've got all the set and the effort that goes behind them to explain them in a really creative way. But they're obviously resonating.
Yeah. This is another thing that I like to do. It's called newsjacking in marketing. So basically, every week you have the overall pop culture trends, and from everything that happened in the past few days, I'm gonna just think if this is something that can be represented in a way that no one has ever presented before. So I'll give an example, the Iran conflict right now. So this is the idea that I'm still thinking if I'm going to do this, but basically no one actually knows what happened in Iran. Like they bombed some nuclear something, for the average American or any person, it's like pretty much unknown what's happened there. So since I'm a nuclear physicist, that's my official title. This is what I used to study here in Belgrade at university. So I was like, how about I come up as a nuclear physicist and explain, can Iran really make an atomic bomb, and how likely is it for them to make 1 or 2 or 10 or and then with these American now destruction of their facilities, can they be stopped, or they can rebuild and whatever, and
So when you take an idea like this, and one especially like this one where you seem quite educated to really talk on the topic as well, is there anything holding you back? What are you thinking about before you start making the content?
So first of all, I think visually. So this is and I'm preparing now a complete course on this method, like building a personal brand with interesting videos, but like my core concept is to think visually first. So I can do a video like, hey guys, I'm a nuclear physicist, so let me tell you what's happening in Iran. So you see these facilities, they make this component and this component, which are needed for the nuclear weapon and blah, blah, blah. So, but this is just like some guy opening his mouth, and that's visually extremely boring. For someone, might not be, but my personal opinion is that I would like to see something more interesting than a guy opening his mouth and explaining anything. So then I was, researching my books from nuclear physics and YouTube videos, and I realized there's one component. It's called yellow cake. That is the initial component needed for the atomic bomb, and I found the place in Iran where this yellow cake is being dug, a mine. And I realized it looks a lot like polenta. You know what polenta is? Yeah. Yeah,
it's a very common Serbian food.
So, to the camera, it looks exactly the same as it's a kind of uranium oxide, this yellow cake. basically you get it out of the ground and like ground it, and that's like some kind of powder. So and then I realized, okay, now I have the visual hook, and this is when I realized I can make an interesting video, because I can hold this polenta in my hands and say, this is yellow cake, the main ingredient Iran needs for an atomic bomb. Hi, I'm a nuclear physicist, and let's see if Iran can make one, and so on and so on. Because it's about what can you show visually interesting. And even the name, like yellow cake, This is another thing that is the core principle. It's called juxtaposition. It's the principle of connecting neurons in our heads. So everybody knows what's yellow, and everybody knows what's a cake. But if you say this is yellow cake, and you make atomic bomb from this instantly connects neurons for yellow and for cake, and the dopamine is being released. And basically, throughout your script, you want to have as many of these visual metaphors or conceptual metaphors that connect neurons and release dopamine. And basically, how you keep people hooked to your video is to have as many of these new connections between neurons when the dopamine is being released. So throughout my videos, people get like 10 or 15 or even 20 dopamine shots like every 5 seconds because of these visual metaphors that I think of, or these juxtapositions in language, and so on.
Do you measure how many viral hooks you have per video? Or
yeah, of course.
Even the way then how many times you'll have when you're on
I plan everything. I plan every second of the video. So if I look at my script and I see that I haven't had like a visual hook or juxtaposition or anything that can release dopamine in like more than 10 seconds, I'm like, okay, I need to cut something or place this part here, to make a bridge between two boring parts, and so on.
So for someone that's just starting out, doesn't have 20 years of experience, and whether they're selling a product, building a personal brand, they want to make viral content, build awareness, how would they get started? What advice would you give them?
So what I'm saying right now is for the past 6 months, I've been collecting all of these knowledge of mine and creating a book and a course, and it's going to be out hopefully like in 2 or 3 months when everything is ready. And this is going to be the first education of this kind anywhere on the planet that will teach people how to keep attention, like not how to use ChatGPT to make nice sentences, but how to keep attention of the audience, especially for short form. That is like the most essential part. And so this is going to be like my main life's work, because it's going to include dozens of books from psychology, philosophy of language, and all other things that I've been collecting throughout the years, movie making, script writing, into this like a new type of knowledge, which is like attention. Basically, the main keyword is attention. That's it.
I think it's really valuable because there's so many people that are building brands or starting brands, great product, they'll consistently be posting, but majority of these struggle to scale, and they struggle to create the type of marketing that's needed to scale. So the content itself is valuable. When you think about marketing practices that you've experimented with generally, from short form video to maybe paid ads to UGC type content, do you experiment with a variety of this type of content? What do you find is working best right now? Sure.
So for like e-commerce brands, I I think the most effective way of advertising right now is UGC. So basically, and this is why I have the UGC school. I have this school for like 3 years now, and more than 3,000 people have been onto this training for the UGC marketing, basically to use your phone to record organic looking videos of various products or services, or maybe a venue like restaurant or beauty salon, whatever.
And when you say UGC, just for the audience that might not know, with the user generated content, are you referring to organic or influencer UGC content where you hire somebody else to create the content?
Yeah, so this is like, we have a database of people who are mostly not influencers, but they are very skilled content creators, and they can make a video that looks completely organic. Like most people don't have a clue that it's like an ad, because it looks so organic, like from your next door neighbor, that and this is why so like the big picture is this. There was this research from the Ipsos. It's a German research company for like public opinion and similar stuff. And recently they published like a list of who do you trust, like a ranking list of who do you trust. And you can Google that, like Ipsos Who Do You Trust 2025, 2024. And basically at the top are like doctors, scientists, and then military, and then police, and then the next category is regular people. Regular people have the same level of trust as military and police, and close to doctors and scientists. But then you go below this ranking list, and there's like, I don't know,
car salespeople, property salespeople.
And at the very bottom, like the lowest ranking, maybe 10% of trust, there are two professions: politicians, expected, and social media influencers.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And this is why UGC marketing took off, because these people, you know, when you see a video and you click and check out who is this person. Oh, she has 1 million followers. This is a paid ad, you know, and they don't trust. But some of my best UGC creators have like 1,000 followers. And you know, when people open the profile, they see the ad, and they open the profile, and they're like, "Oh, this girl has 1,000 followers. Wow! So this must be true." You know, I mean, of course, my rule of thumb is that we never advertise like false. We don't do false advertising or any kind of like misleading ads.
Advertising.
It's just this is legit stuff, but this is building trust with not with followers, but with the credibility is being transferred through the authenticity, and the part of this authenticity is low number of followers. And people check, they're like, 1,000 followers, this looks legit, you know.
It's relatable. It's really interesting. My partner and I were in Nice earlier this week, and we found this amazing Airbnb apartment. And we were saying, wouldn't it be amazing to have a platform or a community that's just your close friends and family that you could recommend great places to stay, restaurants, things to do around the world? And it goes to what you're saying about regular people being among the highest trusted. And then even within that community, it would be really interesting if you could really break this down. But if you could even then take friends and family, I'm sure that it would be in the upper echelons of that group.
The way we do these ads is basically brands or business owners or Airbnb owners would not just, invent things out of thin air. They would actually invite these people to the venue or to a restaurant, whatever is the topic, and let them try the experience and then record the video. So our rule of thumb is also like we don't do like false usage of the product. If the UGC creator is making a video, he has to use this product like at least for a day, So of course now you have like AI generated UGC where everything is fake and so on, but I think people can sense the difference, because when you look at these numbers, like there are platforms like Magic Brief where you can basically measure the effectiveness of any given ad on the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. And when I analyze like thousands of these top performing videos, UGC, I realized that the top performing ones were actually completely organic and real, like from people who really use this product. It's not like pretending to use. And basically to get the full authentic vibe of the video, you need a real person who knows how to make videos, like the screenwriting, directing, angles, lighting, and authenticity of the actual usage of the product, and that's it. Yeah.
Do you think as AI improves and the line gets blurred between what's fake versus real, and that becomes closer and closer, that then we'll start to enter a very different paradigm?
Yeah. So the category of people that are easiest to trick online, we all know that, are the boomers, like people on Facebook. And right now, most of the fake usage of AI to make fake endorsements, fake testimonies, or fake doctors endorsing some supplement, whatever, it comes, it's mostly on Facebook. People who believe like anything that was like on TV,
Why are boomers the easiest category to influence, if we use that word?
Because they were raised in a world where if you see like a legit person with in a studio telling something, that must be true. Not quite, but I can say that nowadays when I see like high class production and TV, my first reaction is, okay, this is probably fake. But to them, it's still, there's some kind of reminiscence from the old times, and they somehow believe that, So, and this is being exploited by so-called black hat marketers. I personally know some of these guys, actually. When you're in this business, you know everyone, even these guys. And, I know what are they making, and people send me some stuff occasionally, and, like, hey, look at what are their, look at their ads, like this kind of, scam. And I just look at those and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I know the numbers, like some of these guys, even locally, are making like millions of dollars a month. Yeah.
Outside of UGC content that is working really well, is there any general advertising or marketing principles that you adhere to, or that tend to work well or are more timeless, that you would recommend? Is it with the ad copies? Is it image versus video? What makes good advertising?
We can look at social media, internet advertising, and like traditional advertising. So on the internet, the essential thing you have to think of is people's skepticism. So basically like everything that I think of when I write a copy is how to beat skepticism, So, and it's if you can manage that, then every ad is effective. So I'll give you an example. Like some 4 years ago, I did a video for a startup here. They were delivering these boxes with food for the entire day, like with all the calories measured.
Meal plans.
Meal plans. Yeah, like you want to get fit and your goal is, 2,000 calories a day, and you're going to get these boxes where everything is like organic, health food, and measured and whatnot. So basically, this video was, we had a presenter, and the video starts like, hey, we are the first organic food box in Serbia, and every morning we're going to deliver you this box where you have breakfast and then lunch and meal and like 5 meals, and that's like the first 10 seconds, but the video goes like for 3 minutes, and for the next 3 minutes you have to beat the skepticism. So then I took a file and I write down, okay, when you say we have this like organic food with all the calories and everything, what are some objections or concerns or anything that people can reply to that? So I don't know, like objection number 1, yeah, but where's the guarantee that it's really organic, and then who counts these calories, or so where's your guy's kitchen? Is that kitchen something safe and clean, or like all those questions. Basically, for 3 minutes the guy is answering questions that I know someone's gonna ask. So, hey, look at our kitchen. So he goes into a kitchen and he represents the ingredients, and then, hey, meet our lead chef, yeah. And then, okay, so this tomato is from the organic farm here at Novi Sad, Serbia. This is their certificate, and this potato is from the farm in the south. You can check their website. So basically, the guy is representing that everything is legit in as many ways as possible, using mostly these visually represented things, because I always know that this is the tip I have for like the timeless thing. The timeless thing is to represent things visually. So write down everything that you want to say, and then you go step by step and go, okay, how can I show something on camera that will be the proof that this is like something plausible and
credible and real.
Yeah. So thinking visually in social media marketing is now, number 1 tip I have for everybody who's making ads or anything. Like, do not leave anything at a human mouth saying like, hey, this is, hey guys, trust me, this is, no.
Without visually representing it as well.
Everything you have to find a way to visually represent this concept, or, I know that many people reply, well, okay, but how do I visually represent this? It's impossible. It's always possible. You just have to think about it. And now you have ChatGPT, your best friend, and you're like, okay, how do I visually represent depression, or some abstract concept? And you're gonna get a lot of ideas, basically. There's Dr. Julie. She's the most famous psychologist on Instagram. Her book is #1 book in self-help. And she became famous because she found ways to represent abstract concepts visually, like anxiety or gaslighting or toxic relationships, whatever. So her videos are like 60 seconds long. They're essentially very short and shallow. It's just, it's something that's basic knowledge of psychology, but she always finds a way how to represent that with two glasses of water. So, and then one is black, the other one is, I don't know, something else, and then she's gonna,
pour water from one cup
pour
to
some
the
more
other
water
cup.
here and say, so when you get into chronic depression, basically it looks like this, and people are like, wow, okay, now I understand, So anything can be represented visually. This is something that is the basis of my book. And the other concept I have is this juxtaposition or connecting neurons. So
Can you give some examples of this?
Yeah. So this is also a timeless tip, and I'm amazed how it's not so more famous. I'm going to make it famous. So basically, if you say a sentence that sounds familiar, you have to replace it with a sentence that's completely, unfamiliar, has some new subjects in it or whatever. So, these regular sentences from marketing jargon, like sign up now while the supplies last. So this is something that does not connect any neurons, because if you say sign up now while the supplies last, basically that's something that people do not believe. When you say that, they're like, yeah, you have unlimited supplies, or you just made it up,
It's a sales tactic.
Yeah. So you have to think of a new way to say sign up now, because the supplies are limited. So in this particular case, if I were on set, I would be like, okay, do you have these products somewhere around? Okay, bring them on and put them on the table, like 10 pieces, and say, okay, so we have 10, 11, 12 pieces left, as you can see. This is much better way to represent things. This specific example, actually, there is one woman from Novi Sad, Serbia. She realized this concept, and she would take this hanger with like 10 dresses, and she takes one, and it, presents like this red dress has nice detail here and there, but people see that there are like 10 left, because they are on this hanger which is nearby. So people see the dress, but then they also see, oh wow, only 10 left. So if I don't order this now, oh, this is a nice dress, tomorrow there may be none left, and they order. She's gonna kill me for
sharing this example.
Their secrets, yeah. But I was like, when I saw that, I was like, you are a genius.
And does that work across all platforms? So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat?
It works everywhere. You just have to find a way to visually represent what everyone else is saying with words. That's it.
And do you do anything that's native to those platforms, or do you just stick to these principles that they work?
Yeah, these are the principles of film. Like, this is the art of film. I used to hang out with a lot of people who are movie directors, producers, actors. For many years, I mean, I love creative people. And, I even went to the University of Drama and Film. I always liked that and listened to the lectures. And I remember one thing that stayed forever in my mind, like when the professor said, like, so film is primarily a visual medium. So yeah, you have a script writer and everything else, but what is the movie director's job specifically? Like, you have the guy with the camera, like director of photography or whatever. You have the script writer, but then, okay, but what does the movie director do? And the job of the movie director is to read the script and to think how to represent this visually. That's it. I mean, visually and with time. So how long will the camera move from here to here when these actors walk? Am I going to say this sentence and then take the glass and have a sip and then continue? This is the job of the movie director. This is what people get Academy Awards for.
So I read a study once into the show Friends. You know, the popular American sitcom, Friends?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of studies done on why this series was so viral, so sustainable over so many different episodes.
Yeah.
And one part of the study done on Friends was how visually representative each of the actors were in that show. And so if you just watch an episode of Friends on mute and you're just watching the characters, you can tell when they're shocked, when they're sad, when they're happy, when they're excited, and they are incredibly animated. Like, it's a really fascinating thing to do, just to really see how different it is in that show versus other shows that taper off and don't work out.
Yeah. And sitcoms are very specific because there's really a formula for writing scripts for sitcoms. Friends or Two and a Half Men, or just name any iconic TV show. They're actually the easiest to write. You know, there's like a formula, and these guys have one big board, a large board with names of all the characters and their traits, and they're brainstorming, and they're like, okay, so what would this guy say in this situation? And it can be either expected, unexpected, and this is like the basis of humor, like this juxtaposition, because you don't know if this character is going to behave expected or unexpected at any given moment. So a character that is stupid says stupid things like 80% of the time, but 20% of the time he actually says something smart and he outsmarts everyone else. And this is the basis of comedy writing, because you never know if this character is going to do something expected or unexpected from that type of person, you know. And
it's remarkable that there's a formula to it, but it sounds like you could have a formula for short form viral videos as well.
Sure. I mean, I think I read basically all important books in movie making and sitcom writing. I read them all, but this making short form videos as a new art form, I've never seen a book on it anywhere. So I think my book is going to be the first.
And you have to include an equation in there somewhere.
I'm a nuclear physicist, so it's going to be a system, bulletproof system that works for everything.
Sustainable, scalable,
yes,
timeless. I want to touch upon AI and how you've seen AI impact the way that you work and where the opportunities are. We spoke about the questions that I prepared, and I was telling you that I use ChatGPT for inspiration.
Yeah.
But I find when using ChatGPT for a creative art form that it's still far too generic unless I'm really providing a lot of inputs and prompt engineering to get to the outcome that I want.
Right.
How do you find the impacts of AI in the marketing field?
Two things that I use AI for. One is copy and script. The other one is visual. And I think the winning formula is using AI to add value to existing real content. And what I endorse and like to do, and this is part of my course, is okay, so this is like my real shot, but maybe I want to drink something that really, even if I travel to another city or whatever, I just cannot obtain this. Like maybe I want to talk about some Australian beer, and I would have to wait for like 2 weeks to get it, and this beer is now viral for some reason, so I need an initial shot. Like, so everyone is talking about this right now, so let's see, and I need to drink this. And in these situations, I think using AI is okay. Then maybe reconstructing some historical images that we all know happened, but there's no pic or it didn't happen. Well, now you can have pic as a proof that it really happened like 200 years ago. And on top of that, you can take that image and make it into video. I've seen Nas Daily started using this. So recently he got a video like 50 years ago, Iran and Israel lived in peace and prosperity, like students from Israel were in Iran, and he basically visualized like Tehran like 50 years ago with Jewish students in the city drinking coffee with Persian people and whatnot.
And he did this with one of the AI video generators as a representation of the concept.
Yeah. By the way, recently I became a partner with a very good startup for AI generative video and photo. It's called Trinity. It's made by Zamurovic brothers, world-class photographers from Serbia. They've been developing this software for the past 2 years, and it's basically better than everything I've tried for AI generative video and photo.
Have you tried Google VO3?
No, I have not. They did. Google VO3 is so basically every one of these tools is good for something. Right now, Google's VO3 generates videos that are mostly entertaining, and they are kind of resembling something that could have happened but never happened. And this is a good use of VO3. But for example, the aesthetics, you instantly know it's VO3 when you see like the colors and everything. So I mean, every tool has fine-tuning, and I think very important is to have the right aesthetics. So and this new tool that I'm talking about can make like, you can find something on Pinterest and recreate that specific style of photography and colors and everything. So but hopefully, I mean, at some point, every one of these tools will be able to produce any kind of content, I guess. I think we're like maybe a few years far from that point. And at that point, it's going to be three things. So story, novelty, and nuance or like effort. So even with AI, there will always be something which is obviously high effort and low effort, and the audience will always want to see high effort content. There is a term called AI slop right now. These are low effort AI videos. So you've probably seen those on TikTok. This is like, I don't know, like a cat that is also a cake, or or some characters from cartoons that are now a blend of two characters in one, and so on. This is called the AI slop because, yes, initially this is the concept of connecting neurons and making dopamine with the audience. But the problem is because it's a low effort content, it's going to get depleted soon, and the audience will just skip those videos because it's something that's too saturated, and the audience will always want to see something that connects neurons in a new way, and we're going to see what's that.
What are the most common mistakes you see people generally make, or marketing advice that's quite common but is outdated and not effective, that most people find a challenge or a hurdle?
To post a lot of crappy content. Just post. Don't polish, don't think a lot. What I'm doing right now is completely the opposite. I told you, like, I got to almost 400,000 followers with 12 reels. 12 reels. Some of them have 20 million views, some have 10 million, some have 8 or whatever. But it's like another person has made maybe 20 videos in that time frame where I make one. But like the difference is obvious.
It's a lot more effective. So yeah. I've summarized some of the key messages that you've reiterated as being the most important. I've got high effort, whether it be where we are at now today and also in the future with the impacts of AI, that an audience generally appreciates high effort. I have visual representation. Story. Juxtaposition. Yes. And you talk about the neurons connecting.
So juxtaposition is basically novelty. So it's a way of presenting something in a new way. The example I told you with the dresses and so on. So something that people do not react to anymore because it's existing neuron, existing synapse basically. You find a way to represent that with new neurons that have new connections and new synapse, which in turn releases dopamine, and this is how novelty is made.
I feel like the Dubai fixed chocolate fits that concept.
Exactly, that's it.
Perfect example.
Dubai chocolate is juxtaposition and novelty, and because you have Dubai, you have chocolate. Both of these concepts are very strongly present in people's minds, and then you have the connection. So with this formula you can have like, okay, Trump and I don't know, popcorn. So hey, Trump popcorn. What? Okay, you have my attention. What's that? You see how it's easy.
And the last I have is UGC, organic, authentic content. Is there anything that I've missed? Because that sounds like some very solid principles that anyone can adopt, even without having a lot of experience, but can do it in their own way to start making more engaging content.
Exactly, yeah. What you summarized right now is basically the foundation of my book.
Can we do a role play, fake scenario, and you can tell me how you would potentially build a campaign or scale this brand?
Okay.
If I wanted to start a new fizzy drink brand targeted at 20 to 35-year-olds, roughly, that age demographic. I'm starting out, 0 followers, very low budget. What would my plan be in the first 30 days? How would you make content if you were me?
Okay, so for start, marketing starts with the product. So my recommendation to everyone, do not make the product, if you're not familiar with marketing, do not make the product on your own. And when you have the product ready, then call the marketing guy. That's not how it's done. The marketing guy has to be present from the beginning of making a packaging, concept, and everything. Why? Because my answer to you is for this particular idea, the fuzzy drink, the number one thing, in my opinion, is packaging. So this packaging would have to be, I would lean to have something that is visually interesting on camera for TikTok and Reels, because then you would have this juxtaposition moment, connecting neurons with new synapses. If this drink is something, either conceptually or visually new. So there's this Dead Soda or something.
No, is it a drink brand?
Yeah, Liquid Death. Liquid Death. And this is like the best example of what I'm saying right now. So they basically took like a regular water and named it a Liquid Death. And it looks like some kind of energy drink, but it's actually water. And so, I mean, it's a very interesting thing to think of something called this concept of unusual packaging is very hot right now because of TikTok and Instagram, because it's a visual hook. But the best way to make a visual hook packaging is to apply something called the semiotic confusion. So semiotic confusion is when this product resembles something else, but it's actually the other thing. An example, the brand called Truly Beauty, which is popular on TikTok. You heard of it, maybe? Those are body butters, but when you open the lid, it looks like they have some unicorn colors, and it looks like some kind of edible dessert, like gelato or something. It definitely does not look like something for the skin or body butter. And just based on that one premise, this semiotic confusion, the Truly Beauty is now a brand worth, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars, probably, in that range, because the product is a visual hook for TikTok and Instagram. Because when you open the lid, people are like, wait, this does not look like a body butter that I have at home. Is it edible? And they're confused. This is called the semiotic confusion. But this confusion is what makes them watch the video to the end. And guess what? Then they'll buy. And if the product is okay, they'll buy some other product from the brand, and so on and so on. You can see that if you go to Sephora. I recently made a video about this with Ballerina Cappuccina.
An incredibly viral trend.
Yeah. And then I mentioned like Gizou brand with honey infused skincare. And they also use this semiotic confusion in some of their packaging. Like some of their products look like a honey pot, but it's actually a skincare cream. So and just go to Sephora and like pay attention to the products, and you can see that most of the brands in Sephora have at least one or two products using this concept as a hook.
I don't need any more excuses to go into Sephora, but I will absolutely check and have a look next time I'm in the shop. Really great insights for product-based brands. What if I wanted to start a brand and I'm a nutritionist and I'm not selling a product, but I want to grow my personal brand digitally?
Sure.
How might I go about that in a creative, engaging way to either to become more viral, to grow awareness or reach without selling anything?
So to all the nutritionists that attend my courses, I point them to one woman. I think she's also Australian. Not sure. Her name is Georgia Haynes. And she has around 3 million followers right now. She's a nutrition and fitness guru or whatever.
A wellness expert?
Yeah. And she realized that what I'm talking about, to represent the concepts from nutrition visually. That's it. That's all she does. So, she would take like, I don't know, something that looks healthy, like an orange juice that people usually drink in the morning because it's healthy, it's to stay fit. And she would take like this orange juice and then like Snickers or a chocolate bar that is obviously not healthy and full of calories. And she would just make a video saying, okay, so this is healthy, this is not, right? Well, what if I told you that this orange juice, this glass of orange juice has the same calories as this chocolate bar? And, and then people are like, what? Now you have my attention. And then she explains further. And basically this is how she always finds a way to keep people's attention by representing something. These are the concepts that most people would say, yeah, we all know that, of course, yeah, but then she finds a way to represent that visually, and then this is actually the moment where people realized, oh, so this is what they've been telling all these years. Okay, but now I now realized how much calories is that, Wow, okay, I'm gonna stop eating this, because of their videos. And when she reveals these nutrition secrets visually to the audience, like 4, 5, 10 times in these videos, like after 10th video where you're impressed, you're like, okay, I'm buying anything from this person. Like
trust levels are high.
Trust level is zillion levels.
And the audience is bought in.
Yeah, that's it. So building a personal brand, find concepts from this field and find a way to represent them visually. This is the basis of my courses for building a personal brand in the book. Like, find a way to visually represent what everyone else is
just talking about.
Yeah.
Do these principles apply to not just smaller brands or startups, but also to big companies? I know you're part of Frame, is it?
Yeah, we sold the company to
scale
Nutanix. Yeah. It's a B2B company, and B2B is actually very interesting because it's traditionally very boring
marketing.
Very boring marketing. But basically, when we did this Frame startup, one of the things we we were popular and sold for $165 million is our marketing that was essentially led by me and Nicola, the CEO. Like these out-of-the-box ideas to visually represent some things are something that in the B2B world is completely unheard of. Like,
can you give an example?
I have many examples, of course. So basically, we wanted to represent how our solution for apps in the cloud works better than the competition. And by the way, our competition was like public companies worth $50 billion.
Who was the competition for frame?
Well, Citrix, VMware.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Huge companies.
Even Microsoft in some way. So basically, we use some metaphors like, because I'll give you one metaphor. So their software is expensive and used by large companies, but it's, what's the word when something is not obsolete, but like legacy software, like 20 years old or 30 years old, which is so clunky and works, it's slow, it looks like 30 years ago interface and everything else. So the metaphor I realized is the roadrunner, and the coyote. Is that how you say in Australia, coyote?
Coyote?
Coyote, yeah. He always tries to catch the bird with some kind of, very complex machine or some kind of invention that will work, and at the end it will catch the bird. So in our marketing and in large fairs for cloud industries, our booth was always some kind of creative infographic, like this is our competition, VMware, Citrix, and this is your software right now. Your company relies on this, and there's like the coyote with some failed attempt, to catch the bird. But with us, it just works. Everybody who was passing by would just laugh, and this is like, again, it's attention marketing. So you have people's attention, and the guy who laughs is like COO of $100 billion public company, and he's like, okay, guys, yeah, I get it, completely relatable. So what do you do? And then we show, well, we have a better solution, and then blah, 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 blah. And then we landed client. We had clients like Siemens, Adobe, Procter & Gamble, even the US government was a client. So like very large companies. And most of them came at these fairs where we found creative ways to get their attention with our booth. They would just pass by, and we would just get the lead, and then the guy would get on the Zoom and show how it works, and so on and so on. So, and in B2B world, it was easy because most of their marketing is some boring people in gray suits, and copy is like generic LinkedIn copy,
standard default content,
elevating your company to the new heights with our whatever software. It's it's basic ChatGPT LinkedIn stuff, and when you enter with this mindset in that field, getting attention is so easy, because your booth is going to stand out in a sea of generic LinkedIn copy with boring blue colors and gray gradients,
With just a simple text overlay.
Yeah.
Final question. If you had to leave the audience with one piece of advice that's unconventional whether they're a small brand, they're just starting out, or a bigger brand as we've just talked about, what would you leave them with?
It's content. Now everything is content. So everything else is basically now managed by AI. So when you run an ad on Meta, like Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like the audience, the targeting, you don't have to invent a way to find your audience like 10 years ago. You just make great content and the AI algorithm will show that content to the right audience, people who are interested in that product. So the only thing left is to make a content that will get their attention and lead to the sale, and that's it. I mean, it sounds easy, but to have this in practice, you have to have a guy like me in your team or someone who knows all these things, and this is the missing piece right now, the content that gets people's attention, and that is what gets converted into sales, leads, and whatever.
Istok, thank you so much for sharing all of your insights. Really interesting concepts for everyone to learn about, and I can't wait for your book to be released.
Me too.
I will definitely be a buyer.
Thank you for inviting me to your podcast, and I hope to see you next time here.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you found value in the conversation, please hit subscribe and leave us a quick review. It helps the show grow and bring on more bold thinkers like Istok. Your support means a lot. See you next time on the Moonshot Podcast.